Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 12 Reunion Part 3. Y'all, we made it.
We drinking strawberry and champagne. Hold on, let me get strawberry. Let me get strawberry. I love it. Strawberry mature.
I never thought that we would see the day when that's a wrap on this. I don't even know the words for this season, but this season has been something else. And because this reunion drained me, you already know that I will be pouring up a nice glass of one of my favorite wines. This is IYLIA wine. It's a delicious Merlot, and I'm going to pour up a good glass because, listen, okay, after a season like this, you have to. It's a must. But IYLIA Wine Collection, great wines, and they are a Black woman-owned wine company, by the way. Here we go, y'all. Cheers, y'all. So good. And they are offering all my subscribers 20% off when you use my discount code BrookeAshley20 at checkout, okay? And you guys already know that I would never leave you hanging. So yes, all the details are down below in the description box if you would like to purchase. But without further ado, let's get right on into it because as you guys already know, we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up the last part of this reunion with Andy trying to lighten things up. He's discussing the single ladies on this cast, Garcelle, Sutton, and Erica, and he wants to know how they're faring in the dating world. So remember how we saw Sutton go on a date with the guy that she matched with on Bumble. So Andy wants to know if they're still in communication. And Sutton says yes, but we're just friends. Then we have Andy asking about Erica's sex life and how it's going. So Erica says that her sex life is going great. She got some good D last night to help her prepare for this reunion. And I don't know what it is, but I just don't believe Erica. I'm not believing all this talk about her having this roster of men at her disposal. Like, you know how you just know that somebody's lying or they're over-exaggerating? Like, maybe they're seeing one man, but they're telling you that they're seeing like 5 other men to sound like, you know, they really have it like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, something about it feels phony. But enough about all that. We now get into the Erica portion of this reunion. The montage plays, and Andy starts it off by asking Erica, how did it feel watching that back, seeing her falling out, being sloppy drunk like that? So Erica says that it feels like she was watching somebody else and how she made it known to everybody that she was struggling since last year and how she has been going to see a psychiatrist. And like I said many recaps ago, I really feel like Erica and a lot of the drunk antics when they were on the boat in Mexico this season, I think that she was just acting because she wanted some camera time and she wanted a storyline. A lot of this felt very contrived. So here's where things start getting heated. And I was like, Garcelle, this is your moment to go off. Like, sis, we are all 100% behind you. So Andy turns to Garcelle and he says, Garcelle, when did you become concerned by Erica's behavior and her drinking? She says that she wasn't concerned until she heard about Erica cursing her son out at her party. So then she says that she had no idea how bad it was until she watched the episode with the rest of us. So here's where Garcelle really just made me proud because she went off. She says, Erica, I have to ask you a question. Why Jax? Out of everybody else at that party, why my son? My 14-year-old son, I might add. Why not Mauricio? Why not PK? Why did you single out my son? So you have Erica sitting there looking so dumb, and she says, look, it had nothing to do with it being Jax. I would have done this to anybody. It did not come from a bad place. It just came from a place of me being stupid and drunk. And Erica Jane, Erica Girardi, whatever you want to call yourself today, let me be very clear. There is no excuse. I don't care how drunk you are. I mean, I don't care if you're blackout drunk. I don't care how shit-faced you are. Excuse my French. but that is not an excuse. It seems like you felt a type of way that night because Garcelle's oldest son, Oliver, rejected you because you were hitting on him. I didn't forget about that. I was surprised that Andy didn't bring that up because she was hitting on him hard. And then when he said, well, you know, I have a wife, and then you talking about, oh, you know, your baby mama, you mean your baby mama, we can have a threesome. Just the disrespect right there. I'm not buying that it wasn't out of a bad place because you had already gone after Garcelle's oldest son. Now, Andy, I was pissed at how you let it slide about Rinna and Erika throwing her book in the trash. You didn't press them on that. But I was happy that you made it clear that Kyle and Dorit laughing about Erika cursing Jax out was unacceptable and unsettling. So here goes Kyle with 1,000,001 excuses. She's saying that she didn't see what happened, just like Garcelle didn't. She had only heard about what happened. And then she adds that when the episode aired, she and Mauricio were mortified. And I said, if Mauricio was so bothered by his actions, then why didn't we see him give Jax a public apology? And I loved when Garcelle got in your ass and said, I just want to know what was funny about that. So you have Kyle, can't give a straight answer. She just says, look, my bad, okay? Like, I was wrong, I'm mortified, I'm sorry. And I said, no, Kyle, that answer is not going to suffice. I want to hear out of your mouth what was so funny about that. Because the way y'all were just laughing, having a good old time, the four of y'all had the drinks out, a charcuterie tray, Mauricio at the side talking about, oh yeah, that's just really great. I would have said, Andy, hold on. I want to hear out of her mouth what was so funny. You're not going to get off easy talking about my bad. No, my bad's not going to cut it. I need to hear it out of your mouth. What was funny? I'll wait. I have all the time in the world. We're here until, what, midnight? We're going to sit here for a while until you give me a concrete answer as to what was so funny about Erika cursing my 14-year-old son out. And when my girl came through and said, Kyle, if I had done this to one of your kids, it would have been a completely different story, and you know it. And I said, come through. And Kyle trying to deny it, like what Garcelle said wasn't completely true. We know how Kyle is, especially when it comes to her beloved children. If you don't think for a minute that if Garcelle had cursed out Portia, Kyle would have been like, stop the tapes, fire her, I'm gonna sue her. Like, are you serious right now? We're not gonna gaslight the black woman and act like she's crazy. Y'all know that Garcelle would have been fired off of this show. So much disciplinary action would have taken place had Garcelle pulled the same stunt that Erika did. And then Kyle talking about, no, because I'm a mother first and I pride myself on being a great mom, so I would never. And Garcelle said, we're not doing this. We're not. I was just so glad that Kyle finally shut up. It's all fun and games when it's the black woman's child. But if it were your child, it would be a different story, and we all know that, and we're not going to sit up here and deny that. So again, Kyle, please stop. So now Garcelle turns to Dorit, and she's like, okay, you know, what's your excuse? Like, why did you just sit there when my son was getting verbally abused by this grown woman? So you have Dorit making a ton of excuses. She says that when she saw it happening, she was just so disgusted. She couldn't believe it. She was in shock. And so Garcelle says, so did you have an out-of-body experience? Is that why you couldn't defend my son? And Dorit says, no, Garcelle, I did say something because after your party, me and Erika went out to dinner and I told her, like, what the F, Erika, why would you do that? And Dorit, I'm glad that Garcelle did get on you because I could not imagine witnessing that. I don't have children as of yet. You have 2 kids. I would think that your motherly instinct would kick in and you would check Erika right then and there. I know that if I had seen that, I would have cursed Erika clean out because I'll be damned if I see you disrespect a child on my watch. There's no way that I could sit there like Dorit did talking about, oh my gosh, Erika, like, stop it. Like, oh my gosh, like, just stop. Like, he's getting flowers for his mom. No. Dorit, you dropped the ball. You did. There's no other way around it. You should have said a lot more than you said. And you weren't that disgusted and bothered by it because you were laughing about it the next day at Kyle's house. So now Andy wants to know if Garcelle felt complete after Erika apologized. So Garcelle says that no, she did not feel complete after Erika apologized. Then Garcelle says that in this group, when somebody apologizes, it's pretty much a weak apology and they just kind of shrug it off like, okay, I apologize, get over it now. And how they make you feel like you're crazy if you bring up how you still feel and if you're still upset. I don't operate like that. You're not going to give me some half-assed apology and just act like that's okay. No. I'm going to give it to you again and again and again in the words of MC Deborah.
And you're going to always get it again and again and again.
And you are going to hear how I feel. Like, no, it's not going to be over with until I say it's over with. And in a case like this, we're not going to just get over it. Let's be real clear about that. I already told you guys that forgiving is very hard for me to do. Like, I'm not a forgiving person. I have many wonderful traits, but when it comes to forgiveness, that's not a strong suit to me. That is definitely one of my biggest flaws. Absolutely, hands down. Is that, and I can hold a grudge. Like, just keep me in prayer. I know a few of you guys tell me that you pray for me. You're like, Brooke, I don't want this to cost you your salvation. And I'm like, child. So Garcelle says that at the end of the day, she accepts the apology, but you can tell by her body language that she's still angry by this entire situation. And Erica looks so smug, talking about, well, okay, like, okay then, like, well, that's good that you accept it. And it's like, how dare you be mad at Garcelle? You're the one in the wrong. But that's that Karen behavior jumping out where even though you're the villain, you still want to act like you're the victim at the same time. So now we switch gears to Erica's legal problems. I'm going to try to breeze past this because I'm to the point where I really don't care. I don't. Just as simple as that. Erica doesn't care about these victims. I don't care about her and her legal woes. And, she wants folks to feel sorry for her like she's a damn victim. I'm sick of it. So Andy reads a viewer question saying that, how can Erica still say there are no victims? And Erica says, well, there aren't any victims on my behalf because I was cleared from the judge of any wrongdoing. So Erica reads the judge's statement off of her phone, declaring her innocence and no knowledge of any wrongdoing. And then she says that Sutton actually congratulated her. And I said, Sutton, are you serious? Why are you texting Erica anything? Erica could not get a hello or a goodbye out of me. And then on top of that, this woman who calls you the C word multiple times and doubled down on it, I would not be congratulating her on anything. So Andy goes on to say that a lot of the women in the group were triggered by her behavior throughout this season. So Erica says, well, I don't care what they were triggered by because I'm the one dealing with this and I'm in a very sticky legal situation, so I really don't care. So then Andy wants to know how Erica feels when the ladies tell her that she's not showing any empathy. So Erica says, well, that's on them. Once again, I don't care what they think. So now Dorit chimes in and says, Erica, all we're trying to say is that it's your delivery. Your delivery could be a lot better when discussing this. So now Erica snaps at Dorit talking about she has to save herself. It's like being on a plane that's going down. You have to put your oxygen mask on first before you can think about anybody else. And then she adds that her battles are far from over. So now Dorit says, Erica, what you just said would land a lot better than what you said this past season. And I said, Dorit, let me quickly tell you that if you and Erica do come back for next season, just know that you now have a target on your back because Erica cannot take any criticism whatsoever. She wants you to blow smoke up her ass at all times. The fact that you called her out on her lack of empathy or compassion, it's about to be real tough for you, sis. So now Andy wants to know from everybody if they all feel that Erica is her own worst enemy. Nobody really answers except for Kyle. Kyle says absolutely. And then she brings up the whole incident in Aspen when Erica said that she does not care about anybody except herself. So Erica tries to check Kyle and she says, Kyle, you and I have known each other for a long time. We've been friends for a long time. And I expected you to be a lot more neutral. And I said, in Erica's terms, neutral means I want you to shut your ass up and don't say anything. Or if you do say anything, it needs to be siding with me. She wants you to be a yes man, and if you're not that, then she's gonna dispose of you. And another thing, I want everybody to stop forcing this woman to have compassion and empathy and sympathy for victims who were swindled out of all their money. Erica is not capable of caring about anybody except for herself. So it's like beating a dead horse and talking to a brick wall, trying to force this woman to care about people. She does not care. And I need them all to realize that and stop wasting their breath. So here goes Andy bringing up those earrings, and he says, why were you so hell-bent on keeping them? Was it for financial reasons? So Erica snaps and says, well, I don't have them. So now Andy says, but you wore them when you guys were in Colorado, no? And she says, yes, I did, because I still had them, but the minute I was ordered to give them back, I gave them back. And then she says, we're on appeal for legal reasons. Andy's like, okay, so that means that you're in court trying to get them back, right? So Erica repeats herself again, talking about we're on appeal for legal reasons. And Andy's like, okay, you just said that. And then Erica wants to get snarky, talking about, no, I didn't say the same thing. Like, we're on appeal for legal reasons. And I'm thinking, girl, not too much. Because you're on thin ice and you'll have nothing if Andy decides to fire you. So again, girl, keep it real cute. And you didn't answer the first question when he asked you, why were you so hell-bent on keeping those earrings? You couldn't even be honest and just say, you know what? I feel like I deserve those earrings. I put in 20 plus years with that old man and his mood swings and his infidelity. I think that I deserved a parting gift. I would have had a crumb of respect for you if you would just say that versus dodging the question and trying to get smug with Andy. Now, we also find out during this segment that Erica and Tom still keep in touch. He actually called her last week and they spoke for a few minutes. It was like a hi, bye, how you doing? Okay, nice talking to you, talk to you later. And then she goes on to say that somebody asked her the other day, why does she still talk to Tom after all that he's done? And she says, humanity. So I said, let's just rewind that back up for a minute, shall we? You have compassion, grace, empathy, and a sense of humanity for Tom, this man who wiped out people's accounts, stole from them, swindled their settlement money, plane crash victims, burned victims, widows and orphans. You have compassion for this man, but not the actual victims themselves. I don't care if I was married to that man for 50 years. If I were to find out that he was this monster, he would be dead to me. Like, there would be no talk about Tom. Oh, remember your ex-husband? No, I don't. No, I don't remember him. Who are you talking about? I would pull a Mariah Carey so fast. I don't know him. There is no way that I could extend that kind of grace to somebody who could do something so evil to so many people. And it's crazy that this woman wants to still talk to him after all that he's done. And also, Erica, I'm really surprised because if he was such an awful husband who was a cheater and talking to you crazy for years, then I don't know how you have any humanity for him. Like, that's just very shocking to me. It's all very weird. Because again, like I said, there is no way that Tom would have my number. He would not be able to get in contact with me. He would be talking to my lawyers about divorce proceedings, and that would be it. So we end Erica's segment with Andy asking her if she misses her old life. And she says, have you seen me whine about it or cry about it? Like, you know, forget the house can come and go, the stuff can come and go. I have a job, I'm working it out, and I'm fighting for myself, and that's all I have to say. So they close it out there. They take a little quick break, and we see Erica asking for a tissue because she's in tears. I said, girl, stop. Nobody cares about Erica's crocodile tears. I know I don't. So now the moment that we have all been waiting for, when Kathy came out and sat in between Kyle and Garcelle, and Rinna looked like she could have passed out. I said, finally. She sits down, she looks right at Rinna and Erika, and they're both playing on their phones, trying to avoid eye contact with Kathy. And Kathy says, "Hi, girls." And she gave the biggest fake smile, and she caught them so off guard. I was here for it. They were both shook. They were like, "Oh, hi," like, "Hey, Kathy." And I said, "And Rinna, where were all those envelopes and manila folders of your alleged receipts?" Kathy sat down and you could barely collect your breath. I said, "Okay," because like I said, there were no receipts. So Andy already knows that it's about to go left, so he's trying to break the ice and start off, all cute and fun, joking about Kathy Hilton wearing her slippers. She's talking about, "Well, I have my slippers in the dressing room, actually." And then he brings up how she couldn't really work Instagram. I think she had accidentally posted something to her husband, Rick, where she meant to DM him. So Andy's joking around about that, like, "Have you learned how to DM people yet?" And she's like, "Yeah, I have." So enough with all that. Andy plays the montage of all the drama that's gone down. And I was screaming because while the montage was playing, you have Kathy low-key letting Rinna know that she's not here for it. She's talking about, "You want to swear on your life on the Bible, Rinna?" And she's giving Rinna the death stare. And I said, "Oh, Kathy did not come to play." So the montage stops playing. Andy says, "Lots to talk about. Let's kick it off with the whole tequila mess that went down in Aspen." So Andy reads a viewer question asking the group, why is it an issue for Kathy to promote her tequila? Because we hear all the ladies promote their brands. We hear about Kyle's stores that have gone defunct. The only one open is the one in Palm Springs, but I digress. Then we're always talking about Rinna Beauty. We hear about Rinna Rose. We've seen Asher get up and sing, trying to promote himself. We've seen Dorit with her failed businesses. And I also want to know what happened with Dorit and the whole bridal line. We didn't hear her bring it up one time this season. I'm like, well, that's really weird. Are the gowns not selling? And also, I didn't forget when Dorit and PK were part owners of that Italian chain restaurant. Remember that? It was when LVP was still on the show. And I want to know what happened to that. But again, I digress. But the viewer was 110% correct as to why is it an issue when Kathy wants to promote her stuff. It gives jealousy to me, like, because she's the richest in the group, they don't really want her to make any more money than she already has. So Andy says, "Look, Kathy, at the end of the day, you wanted to promote your tequila on the show, and that's fine." So now Kathy goes on to say that when she arrived at Kimosabe in Aspen, she saw that there were 4 bottles of her tequila there, and she thought that they would all have a nice little tequila tasting. And obviously, we saw that they didn't do that. So now Andy says to Kathy, "Kathy, it seems like you were pissed when Rinna ordered Kendall Jenner's tequila 818 instead of yours." So Kathy, I like you. It's Team Kathy over here. But I was hoping that you would have been honest about how you truly felt about this situation. We all saw that you were angry when Rinna ordered 818 instead of Casa del Sol. And it's okay for you to admit that. But Kathy says that she wasn't angry at Rinna. She was just upset at Kyle for not speaking up. And then she says that she was disappointed in herself for overthinking the whole thing and expecting for them to taste her tequila. Now, I understood what Kathy was saying because she pretty much felt like she had set these expectations, and because it didn't go the way she had planned in her head, she felt a type of way. And she was also embarrassed with herself for expecting the ladies to want to try her tequila. I understand that. But at the same token, Kathy was also pissed off at her sister and at Rinna for ordering 818. We saw her say, "I can't believe her ordering 818," and she was imitating Rinna while she was saying it. She was pissed. And as much tequila as Kyle consumes, she's always blaming all of her outbursts on the tequila. So it is surprising that she wouldn't be trying to put her sister's tequila in the forefront. So of course Kyle's upset and she's like, what did you want me to say? That she can't drink that tequila? And it's like, Kyle, stop being so dense. It was your event, it was your trip. You were the one who paid money to rent the entire store out. So you could have easily told the bartender, hey, make sure that you only pour Kathy's tequila. And you could have also made sure that they had signature drinks with Kathy's tequila too. And you know that Rinna doesn't care too much for your sister. So I would have said, Rinna, now you know that was petty of you to order 818 and not Kathy's tequila. So now Rinna interjects and she's just pulling stuff out of her ass, just lying. And she's like, I actually love Kathy's tequila. I had it at Diana's. I was talking about it. I was pumping it up. I'm really sorry that Kathy took it the wrong way. I wasn't doing anything on purpose. Like, Rinna, who are you trying to fool? When you ordered the 818, you did it on purpose. You looked real smug. You had that dumb smile on your face. You knew what you were doing. You were purposely trying to get under Kathy's skin. So now Kyle is already sobbing. And once again, I was just rolling my eyes like, Kyle is always the victim. Even Kathy was caught off guard. She was like, Kyle, why are you crying? Like, it's nothing to cry about. So now Kyle's like, it's just like, it's always my fault. I'm always being blamed for everything. Like, I didn't even know that your tequila was there. Like, I was just trying to have a nice time. And it's like, now it's my fault. Everything's always my fault. It's always my fault. Like, I'm always the one to blame. And I was like, Kyle, stop. We don't want to hear it. So now Andy interjects again and he's like, but it did annoy you to see Rinna ordering the 818, right? And Kathy says, yes, it was annoying, sure, but I wasn't angry at her about it. So now we change gears to discuss the final night in Aspen. So Kathy says that they were at the private club and she walks over to the DJ and he had his headphones in, he didn't see her. So she was already annoyed about that. So she says that she spots the manager, walks over to him, and she says, hey, can I slip you some money to have the DJ play some songs that me and my girlfriends want to hear? So the manager says, no, the club is way too packed for that. Maybe next time. So Kathy says that she was surprised to hear that because anytime that she's in Saint-Tropez or anywhere glamorous, they'll honor that request, they'll take the money and play what she wants to hear. So she continues on by saying that at this point the manager was annoyed and he goes on to ask her where she's from. She tells him that she's from LA and he tells her, well, maybe you need to go back to LA. So Kathy's really angry at this point and she walks over to the group and she says, we're out of here. Now I want to pause for a minute because when I was envisioning how this went down, I could definitely see Kathy being rude and giving that I'm a rich white woman, how dare you not honor my request? I read House of Hilton and, they said that Kathy was rude and very entitled, along with her mother, Big Kathy. But that's another story for another day. But I say that to say, I don't think that Kathy was as nice as she's trying to make it seem. Like, she just said this and he just brushed her off. I don't think it went down like that. I think that Kathy probably stormed over to him like, do you know who I am? I'm Kathy Hilton. Here's $500. Play the music that I want to hear. And probably was very rude and nasty. And he probably said, girl, I don't care who you are. Go back to LA because we're not playing your songs. So I think that that's why she was upset, because she was embarrassed at the fact that even with her status and her name, she was still turned away and she's not used to that. So now Kyle interjects and says, hold on now, because that's not the full story. You didn't just say we're out of here. You looked at me and you said we're out of here, and you gave me a really nasty look. Then Kyle adds on that Kathy does that to her a lot, where she'll talk to her like she's a child, and she says, I'm a full-blown adult. Like, you can't just talk to me like that. Like, I'm not doing that. So at this point, I could see why Kyle didn't just leave with her sister, because it's like, how dare you? You don't just tell me we're leaving. Like, no, that's not how this works. So I do understand why Kyle and the rest of the women stayed, because it was almost like, I'm proving a point, like, I'm not doing this with you, Kathy. You do this all the time. I'm putting my foot down. You can't just dictate to me that we're leaving. So I do understand Kyle in that regards of why she did not leave with her sister. So it all makes sense. And also, it's very condescending for someone to talk to you like that in a group setting. And I hope that Kathy works on that, because that is a big character flaw. You can't talk to people any kind of way, even your family. That's a terrible way to be. You're just like, get up, we're going. Like, no, who are you? So Andy turns to Erika and Rinna, and he's like, what did you guys see? Erika says that when she looks up, she sees Kathy coming from the dance floor, and she looks really angry. So she says that she asked Kathy why she was so upset, and Kathy used the F slur in regards to the DJ. Now, we already know that the news had leaked months before this season even aired that Kathy had allegedly used the F and the N-word at this private club. Seeing this season, knowing how Erika and Rinna operate, I am not going to believe these claims that she used the F slur. I think that Erika and Rinna hate the fact that Kathy has become the fan favorite so quickly, and that they would stoop so low to assassinate her character in such a way. I just feel like, I don't think that Kathy is that crazy to say that, especially in this group. I just feel like Kathy especially is very hyper aware of cancel culture. She touched on that earlier on in the season when she was talking to Garcelle and Cherie at Rinna's beauty party. She said, you say the wrong thing nowadays and you're done. And also, the reason why I feel like Erika's lying, because remember when the episode aired, all Erika said was, Rinna saw most of it because Rinna was texting me when they were in the Sprinter van saying that Kathy had a breakdown, and she sent me the text messages. She never mentioned anything about Kathy saying that to her. And I feel like if this really happened, that would have been the first thing that would have come out your mouth, right? Why would you wait until the reunion to accuse Kathy of using that word? Now, if you think that Erika's telling the truth and that Kathy did say it, let me know in the comments. But I really do feel like Erika is lying, and she pulled this out of her ass because she wants some attention and she wants to make Kathy look crazy. So Kathy denies it. She says, I'll always own up to what I said. I'll always own up to the truth, but I will not sit up here and have you paint me out to be this monster. I don't even use language like that. I don't speak like that. Everybody knows I don't talk like that. I have a sterling reputation. Then Kathy says that nobody else heard that. And Kathy had me screaming when she said, and I think I have a bit more credibility than you do. So Andy lets it be known that there was an investigation done about this whole incident, and it came back inconclusive because it was nothing but hearsay. And did anybody else scream when Kathy said, but isn't it interesting that nobody reported on Erika and how she's walking around with a $250,000 Cartier ring on her finger and a crocodile bag? And I said, Kathy, you better get her. I was on the floor because Kathy pretty much said, girl, you're walking around here with stolen jewelry, stolen bags. You need to give them back. Erika was so sick. She was like, I've had that stuff for years. Like, really, Kathy? You want to stoop this low? And Kathy said, no, give it all back, sis. None of this is yours. So Kathy and Erika are still going back and forth, and then you have Kyle interjecting, and she's like, for the record, I did not hear my sister use that word, and Kathy reiterates that she does not speak like that and would never use that word. So now it's Rinna's turn to tell her side of the story, and she says that Kathy's meltdown all started the minute they got in the Sprinter van. So of course, Rinna's here to bring us the dramatics and give us her best soap opera performance. And she says that Kathy was screaming and yelling and venting and saying things that she has never heard before in her entire life. So Kathy stops her and says, yes, I remember venting. I did. I thought that I was in the company of a good friend that I've known for a long time, and the cameras were away, so I thought that we could have a moment and I could just say how I really feel about things. Like, I didn't think that it was going to be used against me. So then Kathy really gets bold and says, now, do you remember while I was venting, you were sitting up there talking about, I get it, I get it, I get it. You're preaching to the choir. And I was really screaming because Kathy was imitating her in this like silly cartoon voice. And I said, Kathy is too much.
Halfway through it, do you recall saying to me, I get it, I get it. You're preaching to the choir.
And you saw how Rinna's face got tight when Kathy said that. Because I can assure you that Rinna was talking mess about Kyle too. She was probably saying, yeah, girl, Kyle does do that. Yeah, she gets on my nerves sometimes too. Like, how do you put up with that? It definitely was not a one-sided conversation where Kathy was doing all the talking and Rinna just sat there listening. So Rinna says, well, I don't remember all that, but I do remember you saying that you plan on taking down NBC, Bravo, and how you were going to get your sister fired off the show. So Kathy's like, girl, you are such a liar. I never said that. Now, do I believe that Kathy threatened to take down Bravo and NBC and wanting to get Kyle fired? I feel like a variation of that was probably said. I think that Kathy was so angry about the whole tequila debacle earlier on in the day. She probably did say, I can't stand Kyle. I wish that she would get fired off of this show. And then probably said that she's pissed at Bravo because they would not promote her tequila. I could see maybe that being said, but I don't think that she went as far to say that she wants to get her sister fired and that she's going to take down the network. Again, I think that Lisa Rinna is taking bits and pieces of what was said and she's twisting it into something else. So of course we have Andy read off what Kathy allegedly said about the group, talking about their peons and she can't believe that she has to be around them, how Dorit's a stupid, useless idiot, how she can't stand Sutton and Crystal. And Kathy's like, I never said that. So mind you, at this point, Kyle has her head down. She looks like she's about to just fall out on the floor and combust at any moment. Like, she is super uncomfortable at what's going on. So now Kathy says to Rinna, I never said that, but you know, I know that you're having some problems of your own. And the way Rinna was so gagged when Kathy said that, I was in tears from laughing. And Rinna said, oh, I have problems? Like, do tell. And I said, now, Rinna, don't start, because if we bring up all what's going on with you, we'll have to bring up the husband. And we know how you get when Harry Hamlin's name gets involved. The day Rinna's card is pulled, I'm going to throw a party. I'm going to have bottles of champagne, balloons, streamers, everything, because it's going to be such a great day. Like, the downfall of Rinna is something that I will be celebrating, because she has been so awful to so many people for a very long time, and it has to stop. Rinna brings up how when they got back to the house, she had to lock herself in the bathroom. And Kathy says, why did you lock yourself in the bathroom? Because of me? Like, surely me, little old Kathy Hilton, would not scare you to that point of you locking yourself in a bathroom. And another good point that you guys have brought up, if Kathy was screaming so loud and Rinna was in the bathroom, and if Mauricio was at the house, Mauricio didn't hear this go down, like, I'm confused. That right there shows that there are holes in Rinna's story, because wouldn't Mauricio have seen this go down? Like, let's be real here. Nobody could sleep through somebody having a big meltdown and another person in the house locked in the bathroom crying and making noises. Like, again, the math just ain't mathing on Rinna's end. So Rinna says that Kathy threw her glasses down and stomped on them. And Kathy says, now, girl, I did not stomp on the glasses. My glasses are here with me, like, I need them. So why would I break them on purpose? So now Andy interjects and he brings up the accusation of Erica's publicist being the leak of all this mess. So Erica says, Jack, who's my publicist, has represented Kathy's daughter Nikki for years, he would not do such a thing. And then Kathy says that she never thought that it was Erica in the first place. So now Andy wants to know if Erica wanted to get this story out or did she want to just stay in the group. Erica says that she had no desire for this to come out to the public. She wanted this to all stay between them. So now Garcelle says everything in this group gets leaked to the press, everything. And Rinna is responsible for that happening. And Rinna, it was comical watching you deny what Garcelle was saying, because Garcelle said nothing but the truth. It always seems to me that every time there's an issue in this group, things get leaked to the press and it can always be traced back to you. And then Rinna says that when they came back to LA, she got a call from TMZ trying to press her for details because they had already gotten wind that something went down at that club. Now, respectfully, I'm not buying it. I believe that Rinna tipped them off and told them. She probably locked herself in the bathroom because she was on the phone with them. So now Kathy interjects and says that she went to Kyle's house because she wanted to make things right between her and her sister and apologize. So she says that when she gets there, Kyle informs her that she has to apologize to Rinna too. So now Kyle's mad, and at this point, Kyle is just crying nonstop. And she's like, I'm getting blamed for that too? So now you have Rinna jumping in, because of course she wants a moment. And Kathy checked her so well. She said, Rinna, I had called you multiple times to apologize, but you wanted the apology on camera because your contract was coming up. Then she says that she wanted the drama and how Rinna fights with everybody and runs them off the show. She names LVP, Denise Richards, Camille Grammer, along with their sister, Kim. And Rinna was too stunned to speak because Mama had nothing to say. All she could say was, I ran people off the show? Really? Really? And it's like, yeah, girl, you know it. You've been nothing but a vicious bully all these years. And I still want justice for Yolanda, because how you did her, accusing her of faking her having Lyme disease, was so disgusting. Like, who does that? So Kathy goes on to say, you want to sit here and act like you're the victim, like you've been bullied, when the truth is, you're the biggest bully in Hollywood and everybody knows it. And production gets an A+ for me because I loved how every time Kathy would say something to Rinna or Erica, the cameras would turn immediately to Garcelle and Sutton, and their facial expressions were priceless. So at this point, Rinna can't take Kathy, and she says, you know what? This is really sad. I'm gonna let you guys handle this. It's between you two, the two sisters, so you guys have at it. So Kathy says, I wish you would have said that night, because all the trouble that you've caused getting in the middle. So now Garcelle jumps in to check Rinna, and she says, Rinna, it's between the two of them. Why can't you just leave it alone? So Rinna makes an excuse saying that Kathy attacked her and she was abused. So I said, here's what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna throw around those words. That is such a reach. And the way y'all all jumped down Crystal's throat last season when she used the word violated, you're not gonna sit up here and just use the words attacked and abused. How dare you? But of course, it's anything to be seen as the victim. And Rinna, one more thing, because I'm confused. So what will we classify your behavior as? When you threw that glass at Kim in Amsterdam, Kim could say that you abused her when you did that to her. When you bullied LVP off the show, that could be seen as attacking and gaslighting and abuse, right? How you treated Sutton, yelling at her and screaming at her, telling her to get the F out your home, and yelling at her once more at Dorit's charity dinner, that could also be seen as attacked and abused if you wanted to sit up here and throw those words around. I hate how you operate by is one set of rules for you and Erica and another set of rules for everybody else. Kathy should have cursed you out for that. And I was happy when Andy said, now Rinna, you've screamed and yelled at people too now, so for you to act like you were abused and just so upset, like that's a stretch. So now Rinna says that she's washing her hands of this mess between Kathy and Kyle, and she is no longer in the middle and she's done. And then she says that, I hope that you guys are able to work this out. And I said, you know, this is really sad how one person got in the middle and has created a huge rift between these two sisters who have already been having issues for years. At some point, Rinna, you're going to need to get a real storyline of your own, because it has been 7 or 8 seasons of you being the instigator and ruining other people's lives. It's time for us to know what's really going on between you and Harry Hamlin and what's up with that dated house. So now Andy wants to know why Rinna was so hell-bent on getting in the middle between two sisters. So she says that it's because she was traumatized. And once again, Andy calls her out like, surely with all the stuff that you've been through being on this show, you were not traumatized by what went down with you and Kathy. And I think that the real reason why Rinna was happy to get in between them, because she enjoys it. She enjoys strife, chaos, and confusion, and she's miserable. She wants other people to be just as sad as she is. She doesn't want to see other people having happy relationships with anybody. So then Rinna goes on to say that she saw the devil that night and Kathy was an effing monster. So at this point, Kyle is at her wit's end and she screams out for them to stop. She's like, please stop, just stop. So Kyle is sobbing, you can barely hear her, and Andy's asking her if she's angry at Rinna for Rinna coming in between the two of them. So Kyle is all choked up and she's like, well, obviously I'm upset because this has now set me and my sister back. Like, we were doing so well and I'm always blamed for everything. I just hate this. I was put in the middle between my sister and my friend. Like, this sucks. And she keeps crying about how she's just so tired of taking the blame for everything. So now Dorit tries to offer some words of encouragement and she's like, you guys are sisters. You guys will get back on a better path. It's just some bumps in the road right now, but you guys will be okay. And then Kyle says, I'm tired of the effing bumps. It's always the bumps. I'm tired of it. When is it gonna be just, we're good? And I said, Kyle, hear me clearly. This is no shade. Despite how I feel about you, this is no shade. I'm saying this from a real place. Y'all need to go to therapy. You, Kathy, and Kim. You all have some deep-seated issues that started from the time you guys were born. I read The House of Hilton. Your upbringing was chaotic. The stuff that you guys went through, you all will only unpack this in therapy because it won't stop until you guys get some help and get to the root. This really all stems from your mother and your upbringing. That's the real reason why you guys have had all these bumps in the road. You all need help, and it's time to stop denying it and go find the nearest therapist or family counselor. And if you don't plan on getting therapy anytime soon, then maybe it is time to say, we love each other, but we are unable to communicate in a healthy way. So maybe it's best if we never speak again and we just love each other from a distance. That might have to be it, because it is clear that the patterns keep repeating themselves. So Kyle is still sobbing about how this spills into the kids, because when the moms are all beefing, the kids obviously side with their mom, so they don't speak to each other. Now, when Andy brought up Farrah's upcoming wedding in the spring, and he was like, well, are you and your family gonna go? And when Kathy said, I mean, you know, that's nice for Farrah, I think we're gonna attend, and Kyle just really broke down. And I said, I mean, Kyle, are you surprised? Because Kathy had you uninvited from Nikki's wedding years ago because you guys were beefing. So I would not be surprised if Kathy does not come to Farrah's wedding. So since Kyle is just crying so hard, Kathy gets angry. And Kyle's like, why are you upset? And Kathy says, I'm upset because you're always acting like you're a martyr. Like, this affects me too. I get sad about stuff. Like, you're not the only one dealing with this. And that is one thing that I can't stand about Kyle. Kyle does act like she's a victim. She acts like she's the only one who cares about their fallouts. It's not just her. She always acts like they're the big bad sisters and it's little old Kyle and they're attacking her. So Kyle apologizes for being so emotional, and now Dorit jumps in and she says, Kyle, I think that Kathy just wants you to take accountability for the part that you play in things. So now Kyle turns around and snaps at Dorit, and she's like, Dorit, I love you, but stay out of this. Shut up. I don't need to hear this. This is between me and my sister. This is one time where I felt bad for Dorit, and I would not have been mad if Dorit had clapped back at Kyle. Kyle is always interjecting and inserting herself in other people's conversations. Is she not? Your friend is trying to give you some advice, and here you are snapping at her. If I were Dorit, I would have cursed Kyle out for that. And also, Kyle, you're somebody who's always talking about your problems with your sisters to everybody who will listen. So I don't think that Dorit was out of line for trying to give some advice. So Dorit says, okay, girl, like duly noted, let me shut my mouth then. And Kathy and Kyle are still going at it. When I tell you that Andy was so over it, he was like, okay, let's wrap this up. Hopefully you guys can get it together. Praying for y'all. Like, we're done here. Like, Kathy, it was nice having you, but I'll see you later. So Kathy says thank you, and she hopes so too because they're sisters. And then her and Kyle exchange one of the weakest hugs that I have ever seen. I said, girl, y'all both could have kept that. So Kathy gets up to leave. She says, shout out to everybody, I have fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I had fun.
I gotta be good.
As she's walking back to her dressing room, she tells her glam team that that was a complete nightmare. So now you have Kyle completely break down on the couch, and she's like, it's completely done now. Like, we're done. Like, I don't know how we can get back on track, and she is just sobbing. So, child, while Kyle is sobbing, you have Rinna whispering to Erica talking about, we're going to get blamed for all this. And I said, Rinna, you are going to be blamed for this because what you did was straight up evil. There was no reason for you to come in between two sisters who already have a very rocky and fragile relationship as it is. So as the reunion is coming to an end, you have Kyle begging Andy if she can leave. She is not trying to sit there for the final moments. She wants to go. She's like, Andy, can I please be dismissed? And he says, you know, like, stay right there. We're going to wrap this up as quickly as possible. So Andy closes it out, asking the ladies about their final thoughts. We don't have to go over everything because it was a whole bunch of nothing said. And frankly, I don't care. And now it is time for the toast. And Andy had them whip up Dorit's drink where she does like the vodka soda with the carcass out. So they're toasting with that. So as they all get up, Kyle is still sitting down, like she is sobbing. She is not trying to do this toast. She is over it. She has checked out. And she's still sobbing profusely. Like, Kyle's eyes were red, her face was red. I mean, the makeup was already smeared off. She was done. At this point, it was so bad that Andy gave Kyle the biggest hug because she was crying so bad. And he felt so sorry for her. So everybody walks off. There's no group picture at the end. They're all like, okay, I'll see you when I see you, but we're out of here. We see Kyle in her dressing room sobbing. Dorit comes in to check on her, and Dorit's like, Kyle, like, please, you're gonna work this out. It's gonna be okay. If your sister wants to punish you over the sins of other people, then that's on her. But please stop crying. Go home, get some rest, but please stop crying. Like, it really breaks my heart. At this point, Kyle's not trying to hear anything that Dorit is saying, and she just starts crying, and we see Dorit just hugging her. And I said, again, this is very sad that one person was able to destroy any progress that was made between Kyle and Kathy. And it was really sad when Kyle kept saying, it's not going to be fixed, like, you don't understand, like, this is it, we're done for good, like, there's nothing that's going to get patched up. Lisa has put a permanent wedge in between them, and it's very heartbreaking. But again, Lisa's time is coming, and I'll be right here for it. Then we see Rinna walking back to her dressing room. She's talking to herself, saying that it was awful. She's happy that it's all over, and it's just unbelievable that this whole thing went down. And I'm like, you have nobody to blame but yourself. I don't know if Rinna is a sociopath or a narcissist or a mix of both, but whatever disorder that she has, she really believes that she's the victim in all this. And that is beyond frightening, where somebody can do this much harm and still believe themselves to be innocent. But that's where the final part ends. And guys, we are officially done with Beverly Hills, and I have never been so happy for a season to be over. I am urging Bravo to please consider firing a good chunk of this cast, or at least consider demotions, because we cannot continue on like this. Beverly Hills used to be one of my favorite franchises. I mean, I always put them in my top 3. But to see how far they've fallen, next season, I hope that it is light and love and some fun, because this ain't it. But y'all, that was my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. And you guys already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.